What's up, beautiful creatives of the world? Welcome back to another episode of the Light Movement Podcast. This is the podcast where we as artists discuss how you can be a successful artist without selling your soul to the dark art elitist system. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about the realities of working with an art publisher, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the rest. What is your experience with a publisher?
Overall, I think from the whole experience, it would have probably gone differently if I was a more confident person back then.
Do they really deserve to get 50% of everything?
I felt like I was working for them. I should have switched my mindset to believe that they were working for me. I'm jumping from being 15 years old into an adult life, making a lot of money.
You're like, I really want to talk to you, but my publishers are breathing down my neck and I can't finish.
A little bit.
I can't talk to you and finish this painting. So I have to choose one. So stay tuned. It's going to be really interesting. I am here with Dimitra Milan. She has worked with an art publisher in the past previously, and she worked with them for how many years?
A little more than 2 years.
So Dimitra, for people who are watching this and don't know exactly what an art publisher does, before we get started, could you describe, because a lot of people probably know what a book publisher does, but what does an art publisher do?
Well, they're similar. An art publisher will handle the business side for the artist. So the branding, marketing, selling their work, promoting it, and getting deals for them so the artist can just focus on painting and doing what they love. And it sounds like this picture perfect idea.
Sounds like you don't believe that it is picture perfect.
I don't know what I believe. I think it really depends on the artist and what your goals are and how you want to run your business. Mm-hmm. So there's so many different ways to run your art business. And I'm not going to say it's good or bad. Mm-hmm. It's just different.
Okay, so an art publisher handles basically the business side of mm-hmm. art, responsible to make more money for artists, marketing, business, contracts, negotiations, all that sort of stuff on behalf of the artist, so the artist can spend their time painting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your experience with a publisher? Why are you qualified to talk about the realities of working with an art publisher?
So I worked with a publishing company for about 2 years, and I signed with them when I was 15. And technically, my signature didn't mean anything because I wasn't an adult yet, and they knew that. But it just, it was like my honest, they took my word,
Which is so surprising. I mean, that, not that they took your word, but with that type mm-hmm. of a deal. Anyways,
yeah,
sorry,
but
continue.
My parents were really involved too, and they wanted to know, because I was just 15, they were trying to protect me, and they wanted to know everything in the contract. And it was kind of, they didn't sign it, but it was like they were also responsible in a way. Overall, I think from the whole experience, it would have probably gone differently if I was a more confident person back then and knew what I wanted. But I didn't know what I wanted, and I was just really excited about being able to paint and not focus on any of the business stuff, and just be told, go to this art show, you're having the show, create 8 paintings for the show, and we're going to try to sell out, and have all that stuff lined up. It felt really good. But, after a year of that, it was getting kind of old. I felt like a machine and just pumping out all this art, and I wasn't getting to connect so much with the other side of it, seeing how every piece fit together and knowing, they were branding me as someone I didn't really want to be branded as. So they were branding me as this Hawaiian artist that loved to paint Hawaiian themes. And after a while, it just didn't feel very genuine. And of course, I enjoyed the process of painting, and no matter what I was painting, I had fun. And they were beautiful paintings. And it made me so happy to see the collectors connecting with them and knowing that my art was going in their homes and they were looking at it every day, and it made them happy. And I loved all that, but I just was hoping to just be a little bit more in control and be myself. And it was hard for me to figure out who I was at that young age. And so I was discovering that and being forced to paint these things. And no, I don't want to say I was forced to paint those things. In the beginning I was, but after some time where they saw my art was really selling, they gave me a little bit more freedom where I could paint whatever I wanted. So it got better. Overall, it was a really great experience. I do not regret it. But looking back, if I was just more confident and I could stand up to them and say, no, this is how I want my business to be run, and realize that I felt like I was working for them, but really I should have switched my mindset to believe that they were working for me. And like without me, they couldn't do all the things they were doing.
That's really, really good advice right there. And working with a lot of different people too, and like just realize your value that you bring to the table as an artist. Like they wouldn't be able to do any of it without you.
Yeah.
You are the creator. And so you should have the respect sort of, and not sort of, you should have the respect, but not just respect the authority in the decision-making process. So, and of course, a lot of that is contractually binded, like you set that precedent up in the beginning.
Exactly. So that's why it was so difficult, because I was just in this whatever wheel, this thing, just
Hamster wheel.
Yeah, just going and going. And eventually I was burning out and it was just too much.
So I want to get to the breakup, but a little bit later. First, I want to go back to like, how did you even start working with them?
When I was 14, I did a family art show in Scottsdale with my parents. And I had a few pieces in the gallery just for that night. And this was like the first time my art was in a gallery. So it felt like such a big deal. And it was really exciting. There was a lot of people there. It was during, I think, like a Thursday art walk in Scottsdale. So like all the galleries have shows that night. And there's just a ton of people there. And I sold, I think, 2 pieces. And one of my paintings, it was Girl Swimming with Jellyfish. It went into the newspaper, the Scottsdale newspaper. And my uncle in Hawaii saw the post on Facebook with the newspaper and submitted that anonymously to his publishing company that he owned part of it. So they were looking for artists at the time, and he showed them me, but didn't say that he was my uncle. So I had like a fair, it was very fair.
There's no nepotism.
Yeah. So the other people in the company just really liked my work, and they loved that I was young and just starting out. So they felt like, they just saw a vision for it. And so they emailed me and contacted me, and this just felt like so out of the blue. Like, oh my gosh, these people saw the newspaper, they saw this in Hawaii, and somehow like now they want to work with me. And it was just like this really...
So your uncle didn't tell you?
Not until after. Not until like, I think it was like a few days. And he's like, oh yeah, I sent that to them. And it was really cool. So that's how everything got started.
Okay, that's really cool. So you were really young, and I'm assuming, you were working full time, right? When you were working with a publisher, you were painting full time.
Yeah.
So what was school life like? Obviously, I mean, people are probably curious. You're 15 years old. How are you doing this so early?
Well, before that point, before I said yes and like decided that's what I'm doing, I was doing online school, and it took me just like a couple hours a day, super basic stuff. I got done with it really quickly. And then I spent the rest of my time painting, riding my horse, doing whatever. So when I was thinking about this opportunity, my parents were just telling me like, it's going to be a full-time job. Like you are going to be painting 40 hours a week at least to get all these paintings done. And I just had like, I don't know, I was realizing I'm jumping from like being 15 years old into like an adult life right away, making a lot of money. And they were going to send me in advance until they started selling my paintings. And then I was going to make up like my advance were going to go, go towards the sales. So yeah, I did not have a normal high school life whatsoever.
Yeah, clearly. So what was the day-to-day like? Tell me, I want to know more about like the actual experience of working with the publisher. What was required of you in this contract, that you falsely signed, or not falsely, but you signed as a 15-year-old, which was actually null,
Yeah. Well, it was a 3-year contract, and then it would auto renew for another 5 years, I think, or 3 years if I didn't say anything, like if we just kind of kept going. And it was completely exclusive. Everything that I created, they basically had rights to like sell. I mean, I have my copyrights, they're mine.
But they had the exclusive like public or distribution rights.
Exactly. Yeah. So if I wanted to sell a painting to a friend, I mean, I had to okay it with them. It was like that strict. I mean, selling paintings to your grandma.
Really?
Yeah, I had to run that past them.
Wow.
And they were, wanting every piece of art possible. And so the more I could paint, they knew that they could sell it. So the more I was painting, like the better for them. They were making more money. So they wanted more and more. And I had to create 6 to 8 originals a month. And then as we got going and things were selling and going well, they were trying to push that to like 10 or 12. And I was telling them, like, the quality is not going to be there. Like, I can't paint that fast. But painting that way every week, 40 hours or more, like, I had to finish 2 paintings a week in order to get to 8 paintings a month. And sometimes if they were larger, I would do 1.5 paintings a week. I was painting all the time, and it forced me to be faster. And that's how I'm a pretty fast painter today, because, just had to do it. So,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Trial by fire.
And what else in the contract? I only got 15% of all the, so in addition to them putting my originals in galleries, they also ran a print program. So with the prints though, I got 15% of hand embellished prints and then 10% of open edition prints.
Wow. Like
Very small.
gross or net? Probably gross.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, because it was a small amount.
Yeah. That's like a licensing deal.
Yeah, and they were selling these hand embellished prints for around $1,200, $1,500.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's good
Yeah.
for them.
I know. And for originals, I got 50%. They got 50%. But how it worked is they put all my work in galleries, and the gallery has to get 50%. So I was getting basically 25% of the leftover, the other 50%.
Yeah.
We shared. So I was making 25% of my originals, 15% of prints, 10% of, other prints.
You had to paint at least 6 to 8, and then they upped it to 10 to 12. What was your day-to-day interactions with the publisher like? Like, who did you have a representative that you worked with?
Yeah, I had
Tell me more about that.
So I had a couple different people. There was like the bosses. And this is where like I felt like I was working for them, because they wanted to okay everything. And like, no, in the beginning they were super hands-on, wanting to know how I was varnishing the painting, if I was doing the sides right. I remember sending them some paintings and the sides weren't finished enough for them. They thought it was thin. So they sent them back and I had to repaint the sides.
Wow.
So there was like a lot of it, like so much attention to detail on their side.
Looking back, do you like appreciate that, or like are you like, oh wow, that helped me grow, or was
Totally.
it like okay?
Yeah, totally. So I had there was like the boss. He wasn't really in the details much. He was kind of like looking at strategy and other things, getting deals or making connections. And then there was another representative who I was talking to more, and he was going out also and like going to the actual galleries physically, meeting with them, trying to get me to get into the gallery. It was a smaller company, but I had like another girl so she was like more in the day-to-day stuff and handled like all the emails back and
Just
forth.
like an administrative assistant.
Yeah, that's kind of what she was. And then I would send pictures of the finished paintings to the guy who was going to the galleries. So kind of like the guy in between her and the boss.
And how many art shows, like they were responsible for, getting you into galleries, but then a part of that was like doing these exhibitions, right? How many exhibitions would you say that they lined up?
It was at least once a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
sometimes more.
Did you do like 25, 30 then while you were working with them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe it was less. It's a little bit foggy, but I just remember traveling a lot and thinking, and sometimes they would group shows together because a lot of them were in Hawaii. So I would have like 2 or 3 back to back in different galleries while I was there.
And what of all those shows was your favorite?
Definitely going to Hawaii. It's beautiful.
Like, was there a specific show that was your favorite?
Yeah, there was one in Maui that there was like so many people there. Like it had the biggest turnout, and I got to paint live. Well, I was painting live at all the shows, and then they would auction off the small, like I was doing a small painting, they would auction that off at the end. And I had to finish that like during the whole show. Like it needed to be finished.
So you didn't even really get to interact with the collectors.
I did, but I was like really focused on finishing the painting.
You're like, I really want to talk to you, but my publishers are breathing down my neck and I can't finish.
A little
I can't,
bit.
I can't talk to you and finish this painting. So I have to choose one.
They didn't want it to seem that way, but it kind of was.
They didn't. They're like, we need you to finish this painting no matter what. But when a collector wants to talk to you, you can't make them feel rushed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that show was really great because there's so many people, and I loved, like, I don't know, just felt special. Like there was a lot of people watching me paint, and I was like a little bit more confident at that show. The first couple shows, I think the first one I did was in Las Vegas, and it would, I don't know, I couldn't really talk to anyone. I felt so shy. It was just hard for me. And so the more I did, the more I felt comfortable. And that show felt really good. And I sold so many pieces that night. It was just really, really fun.
So aside from selling the pieces, like that's obviously super fun. What was your favorite part about working with the publishers?
One of my favorite things, it's hard to say just one, but being able to travel so much and seeing all these cool places, and all the galleries that I was in were in like vacation spots. So I got to see a lot of cool places. And
Did they pay for all the travel?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It would have been nicer if I got to fly like first class or something, but some of the flights were, they weren't so great.
Frontier.
Just really bad hours,
Yeah.
like early in the morning, late at night. It's okay. Anyway.
Next time, so note to viewer, if you sign a contract, make sure if they're paying for the flight, make sure to include in that contract like all these specific things, right? Like they're responsible to pay for travel, and they can't book travel between, midnight or like 11 a.m. I don't know. You can be however specific you want. Of course, it always depends on how much leverage do you actually have as the artist in the beginning. Like, or do you have an established presence or whatever, and then if you don't, then maybe you want to sign a shorter contract.
That's a thing too. I wasn't an established artist.
Yeah.
They kind of established me.
No, it's
so
true.
that's why I felt, a lot more shy and a lot, wasn't so confident.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest thing, like out of the whole experience, I think is really the confidence that I got in myself. Just really good about my art career and knowing like this is the right path for me, and seeing how my art affected people, and just meeting all these people, meeting collectors. It was really cool.
If you had the opportunity to work with a publisher again, and now having established, your own career, having worked apart from a publisher, working with your own website, making more money now as an independent artist than you did before when you were working with the publisher. If there was a publisher who allowed you the creative freedom and control over your brand, but they just focus on the business side, would you want to do that now?
So I'm not against it. I would just thoroughly ask them, like research them, know what other artists they've worked with, see what kind of deals they could actually get me. Like how good are they, you know? Like what level are they at? If they're going to bring me up several levels, then great.
Yeah, they would have to at least more than double your sales now in order to actually be even worth it.
Exactly. So I would want to just check all that out.
What are some of the things that you would research in vetting a publishing company? Like besides, you said reaching out to other artists.
Yeah, I think reaching out to their artists. You can tell a lot, I think, by their website. Like, of course, talking with them on the phone, like having Zoom calls, just getting to know them. And I think in the contract, like if they're super confident in themselves, like they know that they're good and it's going to be a great mutual partnership, the contract would be awesome. Like it would feel really good for both of us. And there wouldn't be like, there was a lot of things with the other publisher, like little things in our contract that just, I think showed they weren't like at that level,
What are some examples of those like red flags?
I think the exclusivity was part of it.
So do you really think that you can find a publisher who's willing to work non-exclusive? And like, if so, to what extent?
I think there's lots of different publishers out there that offer different things. And there are some that are exclusive. I think now, because I am an established artist and have lots of precedent of sales, I could find a publisher that just would work on like one area of my business, where I don't have to give every single original I have to them, where they're
But
in
you have
control of
like
that.
you would have some sort of contractual amount of paintings. Like for example, maybe they're your publisher for galleries, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think all the terms could be discussed like in or nailed down in the contract. And that's how it wouldn't be super exclusive.
What are some differences that you would want now out of working with a publisher? For example, there's a publisher, they're for sure going to double your sales. You're going to get to just paint all the time instead of, having to do the business stuff too. Would you, like the email marketing, managing your website, you'll still probably have to do social media, or at least want to do social media. But they're solely focused on generating more sales. What would you require out of them? And what do you think would be the minimum requirements from you?
I don't know. I would want it to be different from my last experience
Well, of course,
because
yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm in a hamster wheel again, just pumping out these paintings and having someone else tell me what to do. I did not like that.
So it sounds like working with a publisher is out. Like you just, unless there's the perfect publisher, that can 10 times, 10x your growth, then maybe you would consider it, right? And I would push you to do it, obviously. But what is the best alternative to working with a publisher then? If you're an artist who doesn't want to spend more than 20 hours a week on business stuff, or let's just say you don't like doing the business stuff, of course, I believe you have to learn a lot of the business stuff in order to
Know how to run it
effectively run your art business.
and hire the right person.
Yeah, and hire the
Yeah.
right person, because how are you going to know if they're doing a good job or not?
Yeah.
So, anyways, what is the right step for that person,
For me,
for you?
yeah, I would love to hire someone who is really talented at who has experience in licensing, and I want to get more into licensing with my art and licensing it to different companies to create different products. There's so many brands I'd like to work with that I think my art would really go well with, and I think there's also a lot of money in that too. So I would love, to hire someone that could just get those deals and help me with that side of things, and then also probably a different person to help with like email marketing and just, I don't know, streamlining my business, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like really awesome. Like almost like how a manager is for a musician. Like in the music, for music artists, you have like a manager, and then you'll still have like an agent as well too, right? And your manager handles all of like the administrative stuff and like like deals with on behalf of you on all the business side of stuff, but then your agent is responsible for getting you like deals and stuff. But what you're kind of talking about is both essentially, right? In the same person, which I
Well,
think is
and
definitely possible. And you would
Yeah.
still do a lot of the management. So if you're
Yeah.
watching this right now and you're like, oh, I would love to be Dimitra's manager.
I was just thinking that. I was
Then-
like, if someone's watching,
Yeah, if you're watching this, reach out to Dimitra. How does someone reach you?
my email is dimitra@dimitramilan.com.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I'm just curious because you're not quite an established artist yet. So what would you want to work with a publisher? A person, or what we've been talking about, a company that can really, who's kind of all inclusive, that does everything, and just you'll be able to just paint and start selling your work for, even more money than what you're selling it now.
It's a really good question. I'm not ready to paint full time. Like if I could paint full time, like if I wasn't the CMO of Milan Art, then I would say yes, for sure. Like I would be so down for that. I definitely would want to be involved. Actually, I think I would way rather hire someone to be like a manager.
Yeah.
And like do that route, because
It's probably the way of the future.
you have more control too. You know what I could see too is in the future, like a company that has like an artist management company rather than an artist publishing company, where they take a much smaller percentage and are able to like work with more artists at a larger scale as a result of that. And like maybe the artist pays like a fee plus a percentage instead of just like half of all sales. Like to me, it would make way more sense to pay someone like $1,500 a month plus 10% than just 50% of everything.
Yeah.
Because do they really deserve to get 50% of everything? And
No.
I would also limit it to like, I would limit it as well to not be like licensing deals, or if they do get percentage from licensing deals, only so long as they're working with you, or I don't know, something, because like they don't deserve to get, like if you have a 10-year licensing deal, like they didn't create the art. Like it's a lot of value, but anyone can send emails, you know? I mean, okay, I'm like diminishing the role, but it is really important, you know, like the management role, and it takes a lot of like diligence and perseverance and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is like the artist should have full control over it. And like I don't know if anyone deserves to get 50% long term,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I think like a 10% plus 1,500 or 2,000 a month or something like that for that type of role, if they're full time and like an artist is working with a company like that. I don't know. I'm thinking like, okay, how do we start an artist management company? That's where my brain's going, not
Mm-hmm.
not like you know,
Yeah.
what company do I want to work with?
No, you think so
But
big.
well, no, but that's the company that I would want to work with too, is like a
Our own
company
company.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
well, the company that has a lot of resources and works with a lot of artists, and they do like a flat fee plus a percentage, like, cause it's just, it's better for you. It's not better for you as an artist maybe in the very beginning when you're like not making anything, because then you know you're literally just paying someone and you're not making money. But if you're making at least $4,000 a month as an artist, then that type of person should be able to help you get to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000,
Mm-hmm.
and you're making way more from that when you are making 20,000 a month. Like you, for example, you sold $1 million of art your first year being a professional artist. But what did you get to keep? 90, 100,000? 90 some thousand. You know, that's because they had 50%. You had 50% of 50% when the gallery sold it, plus only 10%, plus, you know, 15%,
Yeah.
plus, you know, all the other fees and stuff and smaller percentages that they didn't actually give you. And then, well, anyways,
Anyway.
so all I'm trying to say is once you actually are making more money, then I think that's a way better model for the artist. And it's scalable for the artist management company too. Because instead of having like one person like working full time 100% on just one artist, you have like 5 people working on like 25 artists or 50 artists instead, you
We'd
know?
need more managers.
You need more than 5.
Mm-hmm. For that many artists, I think so.
How many do you think?
I just feel like if you had someone that could dedicate more time, like, you'd get better results.
Yeah.
So if it's spread too thin.
Yeah, that's true. And you probably, I don't know, maybe there would be different tiers of management too.
Social media management,
Yeah,
lower
that's
level.
true. Well, that's true. And maybe there's different tiers of involvement too. Like, does this person manage all of your socials too? That would be like a lot of work for that much money. I don't know. Okay, so we got a little bit lost in the weeds there,
Yeah.
but
Good,
hopefully
good
not all that
things.
made the
It was
edit.
good.
I'm curious though, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious. How did you guys break up? Like, what was the breakup like with the publisher?
Wasn't good. Like I mentioned before, my signature, wasn't binding because I was 15. So I was 17 when I broke up with him. And it was tough, because like my uncle was involved, and just it kind of came as a shock to them, although it shouldn't have, because I was mentioning that I was kind of unhappy for like several months, like saying I wanted changes. It just kind of all added up. Like it was all just compiling and getting really frustrating. But they just wanted to take my art in a different direction, and they wanted to just, their solution or their business model was to just find more galleries. Somehow, if I could paint faster and paint more,
It's not
sell more work.
scalable.
It wasn't
Yeah.
scalable. That was the thing. And at the same time, my social media was really taking off, and I had so many messages like daily. I couldn't keep up with the messages, and I was asking their help. Like, I need someone to come in and like their assistant to just like help answer questions and talk with people, because I had people wanting to buy paintings, commission work. Like we could have, if they had the right people in place, we could have like really, it could have been a really good thing, like working together that way. And we could have made a lot of sales just through social media. And so I was seeing all that, and they just kind of ignored all that and didn't really take it serious. And it's funny because today that's how I make my living. Like, I'm selling directly through Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my website. So yeah, they wanted to just do more galleries, somehow magically have me paint faster. And I felt like I just wasn't going in the right direction.
They
So
weren't handling your business correctly.
yeah, just a bunch of other little things. I mean, we were like really getting into like the percentages and trying to see how much, like, their accounting wasn't that good. Like, I don't know. It was just kind of messy.
Shady. Yeah, 90,000 doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. So it was just like,
Well, and then
there's some exaggeration going on. And anyway, yeah, I just sent them an email, and then I talked to them on the phone. They were all really upset, pretty mad, but they realized.
Were they like threatening to sue you and stuff?
No, they
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
do anything about it.
Yeah. But, well, what they did do is they stole paintings from you and your
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah, because my parents were working with them for a short time as well. Okay, they had all the images, all the scans of my paintings, which is invaluable. Like, that, if they didn't send that to me, I would be so upset.
Well, you could sue them.
Yeah. So they did. They sent me everything.
Oh, that's good.
I think there's actually a few paintings that are missing, but I'm not gonna, whatever, it's in the past. So most of my work is, I got all the scans, all the high res photos, so I can do prints and licensing and whatever.
What was the realization? And then flip that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning.
So realizing that they were taking my art in the wrong direction, I just felt so strongly, I don't know, like, I was having these dreams too, that I was in prison, and I was having horrible dreams, like really bad dreams, where it was so clear to me that I was not where I was supposed to be, and I had to get out of the contract and just get out of the relationship. I just felt like called to have like a different life. I don't know how else to explain it. I felt really boxed in, and just like I wasn't myself. I wasn't free to be myself, and I didn't have control of my business, and I was just all of these things. I just realized all of it at the same time. And my parents helped me, make the decision. They felt, of course, like they supported me, felt like I was making the right decision. I sent this email to them, and then they were just, really upset and shocked. But it had to be done. And we gave them warning. Like, I was telling them why I was unhappy, and they just didn't really take it serious. So
did you have any regrets at all, like after ending it? Like, were you ever like, I wish I didn't?
No, I did not regret what I did at all. But maybe it could have been handled, like, maybe we could have had more conversations towards the end, just to be a little bit kinder. But I don't know. It's business. I don't know. It was just, time was ticking.
Okay, so you kind of hinted at where you're at now with your business, but basically you ended with the publishing company, they who must not be named. Just kidding. And then what happened? Just a brief summary.
So I was 17 and I was free, and I sold way more art that year. Like, maybe like the actual pieces I sold more with the publishers, but I like the number of pieces, but I made more money myself because I was getting, the full amount. And I kept some of the gallery relationships, and I still do to this day. I'm still in a couple galleries from them, because those galleries like understood where I was coming from. Like, they still wanted to work with me. Yeah, today I sell mostly online and through Instagram, through Facebook, and I love being able to connect with my collectors directly myself and talk about the paintings. And this painting, for example, right here, I just sold this piece, and it's my second most valuable painting I've sold. And the lady who is buying this piece, she saw it in the very beginning stages and was messaging me on Instagram, and we were going back and forth, and she bought the piece and before it was even finished, and now I'm able to add elements to this piece that she really likes. So it's almost a half like commission in a way, and that is just, it's like the coolest ever. It's such an amazing experience, and that never would have happened in the past. Like, if I was still with those publishers, I wouldn't have these experiences. So I just love that aspect of being in in the business side of it, but also painting. And I think business can be creative as well. So I just love every aspect of it. And now I'm really excited to be helping other artists, and have them like help other artists do what they love every day and make a living from it.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, man, I would love to learn about the business side of art. I would love to, you know, either be represented by a publisher, know how to get into galleries, or even maybe you're watching this and you're seeing that freaking beautiful painting right there and you're thinking, man, I'd love to be able to paint something like that, or maybe not like that, but something with that level of excellence. Well, you can. And we know that you can because we've seen hundreds of artists do it. And they've done it through the mastery program, which Dimitra and her mom teach. I teach some of the sections on marketing, but they teach you how to paint, how to pursue your passion for art, whether you want to turn that into a full-time career or you just want to be able to create really beautiful paintings that are your own style, your own unique voice, and represent you and the truest essence of your identity. And you can learn all of that in the mastery program. So it's a really simple program. It's a 1-year program. It's designed to be 1 year, but you can take it at your own pace. It's all online, self-guided. And we have mentors, group mentoring, personal mentoring. All of that is available within the mastery program. Of course, personal mentoring, group mentoring is available for extra. But if you want to learn more, then you can click the link. It's probably going to be like right up here or something, or maybe over here. Down there, or I don't know, somewhere around here. Yeah, they teach you everything that they know in their career. Dimitra's mom, in case you don't know, is a professional artist as well and has been since she was,
In her
well, for the
20s.
last 25
Yeah.
years, she has been. I'm not going to say her age. That would be so rude. But yeah, they share all of their experience and you can learn everything that they know about being a professional artist and start your own career as an artist. So if you want to learn more about that, then click that link that's somewhere around here. And yeah, we hope to see you there. If you like this video too, you like hearing Dimitra's story, like and subscribe to this channel. We put out this podcast every week or so. We have free workshops available on here. They're like an hour and a half. You can learn so much on there. And then, yeah, we have a lot more free resources available too if you're not ready to sign up and pay for a program that will change your life. So hope to see you on the other side. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you're not ready to click on one of the links we're trying to get you to click on, then check out this video.